finish this sentence with something negative. For as long as I can remember, I've always felt, I've always believed, I've always been what? What's something negative that you felt or believed for as long as you can remember?
For as long as I remember, I've always felt like I'm not doing enough.
See that right there?
Mhm,
If you go one level deeper than that, that's where your block is.
mhm,
It comes from the belief that in order to be good, you have to be this because
mhm,
who you are is not enough. You
mhm.
understand? Think of a child.
Yeah, yeah,
So my whole entire practice at Evolution is fundamentally under the premise that every single one of us has an unconscious belief that we're not enough. And
yeah.
I've had some big shot people sitting in my chair, and in that moment, they all speak the same language.
Time for a change now. No hesitation. Tune in, yo. Ace's motivation. It's all about your will. When your enemy is weak, go for the kill.
All right, we're here for ShotCast episode 22, and today we have Nancy here, who works with in hypnotherapy. And I've actually talked to some people who've done hypnotherapy with you, and I've gotten some great feedback. I brought you on the show today to talk about the power of hypnotherapy, what it's all about, because obviously I had it all wrong when I talked to you yesterday about it. And I wanted to just kind of pick your brain here for the show and the audience listening. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this?
Sure. Well, first off, thanks for having me.
Of course.
Any chance I get to explain what hypnotherapy is and break the misconceptions, I'll take it.
Yeah,
Have a
because
long-
yesterday I thought it was like,
Yeah.
and you laughed
You
at me.
did
So I
better than
thought,
most people. Most people tell me, if are you going to make me, bark like a dog or quack like a chicken? So, I mean, I'll take the little clock any day over.
yeah.
But yeah, so I'm a master's level psychologist, and I have a certification in hypnotherapy. I also
Hmm.
am a life coach, and I'm trained in two other modalities. But primarily, the things that I do at my office is I do therapy that taps into subconscious mind.
Hmm.
So it's totally different than traditional therapy in that you're not coming in and just talking about your feelings and processing things. The reason is because the human mind is 95% subconscious
Hmm.
and 5% conscious.
Hmm.
So the conscious mind is the one you're using now. It's the analytical part of your brain. It's the logical, reasonable opinion part of your brain. It's the
Hmm.
part that says, do you like Brussels sprouts or not? But the subconscious mind is the apps that you've downloaded. There's the software of your mind. You blink with your subconscious. You breathe, you walk, you talk, you chew. Everything you do automatically is coming from your subconscious mind. So I like to explain it as the apps that were downloaded from birth through the age of 7.
Hmm.
That's when subconscious is being formatted. Have you ever heard somebody say it's like riding a bicycle? Oh, it's just like,
Yeah.
okay. The reason they say that is because if you downloaded the app for riding a bike as a little boy, you can get back on that thing 25 years later and the program automatically kicks in. You never lose the information that was downloaded from your subconscious.
True.
And so you don't have to keep learning how to walk every single day and chew, right?
Uh-huh.
The relevance of that is in those first 7 years of life, when you're in that brainwave of download, you're downloading your programs for your beliefs, your personality, and your characteristics. By the time you're 7 years old, you already know if you are worthy, loved, safe, good enough, shy, outgoing, fat, athletic. All of those beliefs get downloaded into your mind in those first 7 years. And so you spend the rest of your life with this 95% software that you downloaded in those first 7 years.
Hmm.
And the only access you have beyond that is the conscious mind, which is only 5%. So you spend the rest of your life thinking about who you want to be and making these, goals and vision boards and reading these self-help books and talking to your therapist. The only problem is that you can process things a million times over, but you're only accessing 5%. And if there are blocks in the subconscious that say you are not worthy or you are not good enough, you can run around in circles with that 5%, but you're always going to be dominated by the subconscious. So once I
Hmm.
discovered the power of that, all of my therapy is based on reprogramming and rewiring the subconscious mind.
Wow. Did you say it's up to 7 years old?
Up through 7 years old, correct.
So you're saying after seven, is that like a fact that your subconscious mind is set in stone and molded?
It's pretty much molded. There are two ways to download new information into the subconscious mind post the age of 7.
Okay.
And that is through a traumatic experience. So, if or you were assaulted in a parking lot, your brain will instantly download a program for fear of that situation
Okay.
without negotiation. See, how do you download a program in the subconscious mind? Is you have to get it past the conscious rational part. And when you're in a state of trauma, instantly it goes right through it, passes, doesn't have a chance to go through the critical thinking part of your mind. And
Okay.
so it immediately becomes a program.
Yeah.
Second way to download a program after the age of 7 is through repetition. But when I'm talking repetition, I don't mean like reading an affirmation every day. I'm talking doing something over and over and over and over and over again until your brain has no choice but to download a program like driving.
Uh-huh.
Why it's called autopilot, right?
Yeah.
So you don't pay attention anymore when you drive because you downloaded a program for driving and your leg knows where to press the gas, press the brakes, steering wheel, talk on the phone, do all these things because it's autopilot from a program in your subconscious.
Okay.
So the
So
bulk of your mind is programmed by the age of 7.
got it. So you said like things like being loved and like being confident or those kind of things like that come in. Or what about for people that gain love or gain confidence or they change after 7?
So everybody changes after 7. The problem is that you are if you have a program that is conflicting with who you're becoming, you're going to work either you're never going to get to where you want to be or you're going to kill yourself trying because just imagine you're against the current of 95%.
Got it.
People hustle, 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 try, 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 and they exhaust themselves because they're working against their subconscious. And what I
Okay.
do is I create a harmony between subconscious and conscious so everything is flowing in the direction you want it to go.
Okay. How did you get into this first before we get into more deeper into this?
Honestly, I had just heard about it. So I was a school psychologist for 11 years.
Okay.
I worked with your sister
Oh,
as
okay, cool.
a teacher, and
Uh-huh.
I'm a psychologist at the school that she worked at. And my job was to test kids for special education. And one
Okay.
of the biggest issues I had doing that for as long as I did was I really fought against the idea of labeling a child, especially young.
Uh-huh.
I always felt like if you told him he had a disability, somehow, some way, he would manifest it, right? And this
Uh-huh.
was before I even knew the power of subconscious. And so I would resist all the time. And I'd be like, how do you know he's ADHD? What if he's got anxiety? What if he's hungry? What if he's got stuff going on at home? And I was very frustrated because I felt like we were helping create beliefs in children that they would live with the rest of their lives. And so I always knew that working in the schools wasn't going to be my permanent place, even though I loved it and I loved the parents and the children and my colleagues. But I
Uh-huh.
always knew I needed to be somewhere else. It was in my gut. And
Yeah.
I had heard one time about somebody going to a consultation to quit smoking because hypnosis is primarily mainstream known for quit smoking with hypnosis or lose weight.
Yeah.
So this girl had gone to a consultation with this guy who wanted to quit, and he was like, "Oh, this is so stupid. She's going to program my mind." And she walks away thinking, "What? She's going to program his mind?" So she
Yeah.
tells me about it, and I start investigating, and I'm like, "This is cool." So I
Yeah.
scheduled a session for myself. I'm like, "I want to give this a try," and I tried something that was very easily measurable, and it was I was smoking nargile
Yeah.
and shisha,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? If she can make me quit, this stuff is real. So she did.
Really?
I did not even crave it at all.
How
And
many sessions did you do to stop?
3,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't even want to quit, which she's a superstar in my book because I don't do smoking. I transferred into a different realm, but
Yeah.
I understood from that is that there's a skill there that is underutilized. Like
Uh-huh.
here I am lying on a couch in her office taking a nap while she talks to me, and all of a sudden my behavior is different. And I didn't find that mind control. I found it like super empowering.
Uh-huh.
And so I immediately started looking for programs. I got certified. I did my training. I got mentored and still stayed at the schools and didn't leave, even though I was certified.
Uh-huh.
And people were like, "What are you going to do with this?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to leave when I get tenured. And I don't want to abandon the kids. They need me." Right. And so
Yeah.
it was like, wow, that's great. Great reasoning. It wasn't until I did a couple of my own hypnotherapy sessions where I released some of my blocks that I realized it had nothing to do with that. Yeah, I love the kids. Yeah, I wanted to get tenured. The real block was in my subconscious. It was my fear of letting go of security and launching into something brand new with no
Mm.
safety net.
Uh-huh.
And the moment I did my sessions, I swear to God, I don't even realize how it happened. I just started, like, I was like, oh, that's a nice office space. Or, oh, let me grab this printer. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I want my logo to look like this. So every couple of days, I would do something a little here, a little there, and then within 3 months, my office was up and running.
Wow.
And 6 months after that, I quit the schools altogether. I was like, all right,
Wow.
I gotta go.
Wow. So from hearing you out, it seems like the biggest opportunity and advantage of doing this is you figure out real reasons of why you're not doing things or why you are doing things. Is that right?
Even if you don't figure them out, you remove them.
Uh-huh.
People are obsessed. Mainstream therapy has made us, and I was this person for my whole life up until I learned this. Mainstream media is obsessed, or therapy is obsessed with learning why this is happening. I want to understand this. I want to understand that. And I tell people, if you had a disease and somebody came up to you and they're like, in this hand is the reason, and in this hand is the cure, which one are you going to take?
The cure.
And that's what hypnotherapy is. It doesn't need to be this long, thought out, analytical, talk about it all. It's go in, reprogram, rewire, come out.
Got it. So do you support regular therapy?
Sure, but you have to do your subconscious therapy first. So I'm a life coach. Even when people
Yeah,
come, they're like, I want to do life coaching. I tell them, sorry, I won't do your life coaching until I make sure your subconscious programs are in check
got it.
because then I'm working against it.
Awesome.
You reach a peak in therapy where you're just like, okay, this is good. I enjoyed it. I grew, but I plateaued. I still feel like there's still something holding me back, and then they end up in my office.
Got it. So you don't recommend you do therapy until you do hypnotherapy first?
Me personally, I take my clients and coach them only afterwards. I
Uh-huh.
recommend everybody does whatever works for them. People really, really enjoy therapy.
Yeah,
Um, and I know I'm a good therapist, actually, even though
yeah,
I call myself a therapist, I know
yeah,
I'm good at it. Um,
yeah.
but I'm saying it doesn't, you don't have to do, it's not that you have to do this or that. I'm saying you should do both. If you enjoy therapy and it works for you, you should definitely also do the hypnotherapy so you can get the subconscious mind in line.
Mhm. Yeah, and I've experienced it. We've had therapists come out to our company, and they were given with our benefits and stuff. So I had someone ask me, one of my mentors and leaders, to test them out and see how they are before they start going out to all of our teammates. So I tested two out, and I think what I noticed going through it was the joy was letting stuff off your chest and talking. But like you said, I wasn't getting to any solution. It doesn't matter how many sessions I did, it felt like just a repetitive cycle of why, but there was like no path of getting anywhere. So that's why I was interested when you said this gets you to the blocks that are really stopping you, or the blocks that you think are stopping you, and get you to the real truth behind
Mhm,
things,
mhm.
which is
It's
cool.
creating congruency. Congruency between all those conversations you had with your therapist, which makes sense. But the
Hmm.
reason why you went back into your pattern is because the 95 dominates.
Yeah.
You get that instant feeling of relief, and your
Uh-huh.
logical brain is like, yeah, that makes sense, right? I
Yeah.
logically know that I should be working out during the coronavirus pandemic while I'm sitting at home. But
Uh-huh.
there's still a block in my subconscious mind that's having me eat popcorn instead.
Yeah.
Your logic is there, but it doesn't.
Uh-huh.
It's your programs that rule.
Now let me ask you a question. Is there ever anybody that it doesn't work for?
Only people who don't think it won't work.
So you have to believe it.
You have to accept it.
You have to
Even if
accept
it
that.
doesn't fully make sense, I tell people all the time, find something. Believe that you want to be better. Believe in me if some people are connected to me. Believe in the fact that this is something new and you've never actually failed at it before. So you have a 100% success rate, right? Just find some way to make sense out of it where you're like, okay, I'm ready to receive and I'm going to give this a shot. And then everything else is the magic.
Got it. Now, I know we all know people in our lives who are super disciplined. Like they want to do something, they set their mind to it, and they do it.
Mhm.
What do you think of those people's subconscious mind?
So there's two things. These people have some good programs in their subconscious mind, but they also might be overcompensating for a need for control and perfectionism. So I don't. There's a certain level of drive. If it's too hard and too intense, it is causing some disharmony inside of you. Okay, it's
Hmm.
coming from an overcompensation or a need or to fill something. And I'm not generalizing. I'm just saying in
Hmm.
some cases that is the situation. So I have a lot of people who are very successful. I mean, I've hedge fund people, I've had athletes, I've had all kinds of clients that come in to see me. And I literally work on them learning how to go easier with things, not to push harder. If you know the law of attraction, if you know quantum physics, if you understand that what you radiate into the universe, you draw back into you,
Hmm.
right? The belief comes in where if you're in a state mind state of need, I need to get this done, I need this, I need this, I need this, you're essentially sending out an energy of deficit because you don't have it.
Hmm.
When you're in a state of gratitude, when you're like, oh, I love what I have so far. This is amazing. When you're in that state of gratitude, you're attracting more of that into your life. So when you're trying too hard and you're too intense about it, you might be actually pushing some of the abundance away from you without realizing it. Sure, your subconscious knows you're good. There are days you need to chill and relax, and that's okay. And there are
Yeah,
days that you just hustle hard.
got it. What are your morning rituals? Do you have any?
Coffee.
That's it.
I don't talk to anybody.
Hmm.
I'll tell you my night rituals is that I never look at my phone before I go to bed. Um, I make sure that I don't ever go on social media. I don't watch things that are upsetting me because one of the things people don't understand is that you know how I told you that brainwave from the first 7 years of life?
Yeah.
It's called theta. Okay, there's alpha, beta, theta, delta.
Okay.
Theta is a brainwave that we were in from birth until 7, and it's also the brainwave that we pass through as we fall asleep at night, and it's also the brainwave of hypnosis.
Uh-huh.
So when you're falling asleep in your bed at night, you're passing through theta and you're passing through the program phase. So whatever you're falling asleep to at night is literally downloading into your brain. So you want to be very cognizant of what you do before bed because that stuff travels into your mind through theta and into your subconscious every single night.
I start my day off usually with like a gratitude list. I have like a formula that I do, the Miracle Morning, like from
Mhm,
Tony Robbins.
mhm.
Gratitude list, meditation, writing down my goals for the day. And like I'm very systematic with that approach. And I feel like when I do that, it gives me a good start to my morning.
Yeah,
And when I don't do that, I just get off on a rough start for the day.
yeah,
So I try as much as I can as possible to get up an hour, 2 hours earlier and do that Miracle Morning with everything included in it
yeah.
to give myself a super start to the day.
So I love that. And I want you to know that my clients all have recordings of my sessions. And
Yeah.
so they'll either fall asleep to my recordings at night or wake up to them. But what I want you to also know is that you know how you say if you don't start off your day without that miracle mile, is that what you call it?
Miracle Morning.
Morning, miracle morning.
Yeah.
If you don't start off, you feel like you have an off day.
Yeah.
My unconscious mind is in such a state of harmony
Yeah.
that I don't if I do it, it makes me feel even better. If I don't do it, I don't have an off day. Does that make sense?
Yeah. You still feel good regardless.
I'm in that harmony inside
Yeah.
of me. So I have a balance inside of my unconscious.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like an automatic energy. Like falling asleep at night, I'm visualizing my goals. I don't have
Yeah.
to say them in affirmations, but it's really good for people to say them. And one of the techniques I talked about in an interview I did yesterday is record your own voice, your affirmations,
Yeah.
add some delta waves in the background. So if you go to YouTube and you put delta waves, it's that very kind of hypnotic zen.
Uh-huh.
And then repeat them over and over again. So it's an extended period of time and fall asleep to your affirmations at night. It's even more powerful than reading them when you wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Goes right into your subconscious.
Nice. So like when you say like 1 to 7, the thing that I wonder is I don't remember anything from 1 to 7.
Most people don't
But
follow.
yet you're saying that the subconscious was programmed from those years.
So everything that's ever happened to you is in your database of your subconscious. Your
Yeah.
subconscious is the storehouse of all of your memories from pre-birth, last trimester of your being in your mom's stomach
Okay.
up until today. Every single thing that's happened is filed in your subconscious. You may not consciously remember any of these things, but it's alive, fully alive.
Okay. So are you saying that because I have a baby coming hopefully in May,
Oh, okay. Congrats.
and this is the last trimester, so are you saying if I master and do things a special way for the first 7 years, I can make this baby an absolute machine when they grow up?
You see? All I'm hearing right now is you projecting. You don't want to make him a machine. You want to make him happy. You want to make
Yeah.
him balanced. You want to make him calm. You want to make him peaceful. You want to make him feel secure.
Uh-huh.
That's your golden ticket.
Uh-huh.
The intense, intense, intense thing is because you're fighting against the current. When the
Yeah.
current and you are flowing in the same direction, it just happens.
Yeah. I think it's because a lot of my mentors that I follow and stuff are very aggressive
I know.
towards their inspiration and motivation.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's the way I get inspired.
Yeah, I love
very
it.
tough on myself.
But
And
you
that's
can't be tough on yourself. That's the
yeah.
thing. That's where you're missing. This is where you're throwing your whole vibration off.
Okay.
When you're tough on yourself, you're basically saying you're bringing up failure. You're in a place where you're not accepting mistakes. Okay, the world doesn't work like that. And if
Yeah.
you know all of your mentors, they understand we can't be picture perfect because
Yeah.
anybody striving for perfection is going to fail every single day.
Of
You
course.
have a lot of reference points for failure, right?
Yeah. But sometimes I have trouble finding the balance in between when it's like it's okay and you're always living in a kind of a zen. I feel like you lose balance and control of what you really want. So that's why I try to stay on the more aggressive side where I'm just super
I
laser beam
promise you,
focused on my goals.
I promise you, if you come over to this side, you'll
Yeah.
understand how much more effective it is.
And how long does it take to come over to that side?
Well, my clients say that it should be my office should be called Evolution Hypnotherapy, giving 0 Fs daily.
Yeah.
That's how my clients feel. They come
Okay.
in like high strung. They're upset with the person on the road. This guy cut me off. They're intense, 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 and then each time they come in, they just get calmer and calmer. And now that and I mean, my clients will typically do like my detox, which is about 10 sessions roughly.
Yeah.
And by then, they're still getting stuff done, but they're getting it at a place of of harmony and like a homeostasis, right? So it's a place in the mind and body where you're even, you're centered, and then your mind works optimally when you're in that space. So you're sharper, you're more effective. It requires less work because it's more precise.
Mm.
Make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
When's your birthday?
I'm a Virgo, September
Oh, yeah,
22nd.
I was gonna say it. I was gonna say it. I should have said it because it was on camera. I should have said, "Are you a Virgo?" Because it's been playing in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
All right. So what I would work on with you is to chill out.
So you believe in horoscopes?
I mean, I've seen it too many times. I don't want to get into that part of it because sometimes people think that you lose credibility with that. So we won't go.
Okay.
But creating balance in your
Yeah.
life is where you need to be. You have an all or nothing personality. That's why you
Yeah.
call it a dark side. If you have balance and you're like, okay, I had a cookie today, then you won't feel like, forget it, I screwed up my whole diet. And then you go to the dark side.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow I'm going to start clean and it's going to be perfect, perfect, perfect. And then you're going to crash.
That's exactly right.
I won't work on eating with you or smoking with you. I'd work on your perfectionism, your need for control, your micromanaging, and where that comes from, and just have you create an acceptance of self and flow with life. And then you're going to notice when you're not working so hard, you're just attracting things into your life naturally without having to fight for it. And you won't have to go so black and white, all or nothing.
How would that lead to me not smoking no more though?
I would work on the undertone of what you have is anxiety, which is pretty much everybody. Whether you recognize that or not, it's there. And
Uh-huh.
if you do, because your personality is a go-getter and you're not going to be crying in the corner, you're like,
Yeah.
my anxiety is not going to kill me. So I'm going to go out there, I'm going to hustle and make sure I never put myself in a situation where I feel weak, I feel unaccomplished, I feel like I'm lagging, I feel unhealthy. I'm going to stay ahead of it. I'm going to stay ahead
Yeah.
of it. And so
Uh-huh.
you try to be in control. You try to anticipate everything and keep, yourself in that state.
Hmm.
But life doesn't work that way. And so I worry with people who have a perfectionist mindset that the first failure hits you harder than it might hit somebody who's just like, okay, I can hang. I made a mistake. Okay.
Hmm.
By the way, I have undertones in my personality like this too. I
Hmm.
work hard on going away from it because it can actually paralyze you.
Yeah.
Your smoking is a coping mechanism for you right now. It's your friend. I won't
Uh-huh.
take away your friend until I take away the anxious feelings, the intensity, you know,
Uh-huh.
the stress. Once I
Yeah.
take that away and you're calm, then I take away your pacifier. Anybody who comes in for weight, smoking, I don't care what it is that they want to work on, I make sure that the subconscious mind is in a place of inner calm, inner peace, confidence, self love. And then you take away the thing that's keeping them comforted.
So you're pretty much saying you find peace within with somebody, you make them feel peaceful and at zen at life, and then everything else will follow after that.
And people get more motivated and people find more success and people attract more things into their lives. I've never reached out to anybody. I've never ever said, "Hey, can you have me on your show? Can you interview me?" I just know the universe is bringing stuff to me
Yeah.
and things come, you know? There's a balance, of course. So if you have a combination of being assertive and also ready to receive, then you're in the optimal place and you are just like a champion.
Yeah.
You have to just know it's coming. You don't have to chase, chase, chase. Just saying in general, when
Yeah.
things are coming from a place of a lot of intensity, it actually keeps you on a high altitude of so your body works for you when it's in a calm state.
Hmm.
And if you're in an intense fight or flight, or if you're in an anxious place, you're actually taking blood flow away from your heart, your brain, your lungs, and sending it into your extremities because you're either going to fight or flight.
Hmm.
That's where the intensity comes in, right?
Got
Sometimes
it.
it's adrenaline, and I like that too, but you have to
Yeah.
be able to tell which one is which. Because
Yeah.
people who are kind of more woe is me, they'll feel it and call it anxiety. People like
Yeah.
you who are a go-getter, you're like, nope, this is not, this is adrenaline. But it actually might be undertones of anxiety, right?
Hmm.
So you want to make sure that your subconscious, your nervous system, your body feels calm, working at its optimal levels, you're balancing in life, you're flowing with life. Once you flow with it, it'll flow back with you. It is anxiousness and it is insecurity and it might be an overcompensation. And men and a lot of women don't recognize that. We don't see it unless it's an outward, like full blown, what you commercially know as panic.
Hmm.
Everybody tells me I don't have anxiety.
Yeah.
There's no way that you can live on this earth and be part of life and the programs around you without having some program for anxiety.
Hmm.
Everybody feels it, whether it's a fear of failure or a fear of success,
Yeah.
or worried about your kid being born, or worried that you don't have enough money in your retirement fund, or worried that your kid's going to get sick, or there's a million different versions of
Yeah.
it. Feeling like stressed when the house is a mess, or
Yeah.
being on an airplane and being like, okay, I'm anxious being here, I just want to be out of here, because you don't have control. That's all anxiety.
Yeah.
And so I go under the premise that everybody has it, and I go under the premise that everybody has an unconscious belief deep, deep down inside that they're not good enough. It took me forever to find out what mine was, because I'm kind of, I'm like, I come off very confident, and everybody thinks I'm confident, and I thought I was. It took me so long to identify what mine was. And I
Yeah.
found out later in life that my belief is, so finish this sentence with something negative. For as long as I can remember, I've always felt, I've always believed, I've always been what? What's something negative that you felt or believed for as long as you can remember?
For as long as I remember, I've always felt like I'm not doing enough.
See that right there?
Hmm.
If you go one level deeper than that, that's where your block is.
Hmm.
Comes from the belief that in order to be good, you have to be this. Because
Hmm.
who you are is not enough. You
Hmm.
understand? Think of a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my whole entire practice at Evolution is fundamentally under the premise that every single one of us has an unconscious belief that we're not enough. And
Yeah.
I've had some big shot people sitting in my chair, and in that moment, they all speak the same language.
So you're saying that's like a majority reason for everybody that comes in?
No,
Everybody
I
listening?
didn't know that. That's the majority reason why we have war in this world, why we have killing, why we have drug abuse, we have suicides. It's the core. It's the core why people are not nice to each other. Each and every one of us somehow, some way, had a program slip in early in life that made us feel like we weren't enough, and we carried it with us, whether it was from a teacher, a friend, a parent, a neighbor. I had a girl
Hmm.
who I did a session with, and she went to her neighbor's house when she was 5 years old to visit, and the memory that came up in the session was her neighbor telling her, "Honey, you can't keep coming over here every day. You need to go back to your house." Not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
When you're 5 years old, you don't have the conscious ability to say, "Okay, maybe I am annoying. Maybe I don't shouldn't be here." it's just an instant feeling of rejection and nobody wants me around. And so that was part of the reason why she was more introverted later on in life. And how cool is it that we can do a session to go back to the first time her brain downloaded the belief that she's a burden. This is how the process works.
Wow, amazing. This show's called ShotCast. I know you went over a lot today.
Yeah.
If you could end it with just, one shot of inspiration, for everyone listening, I mean, what's one thing that people could really, listen to and make a nice impact on their life?
Yeah. So I think my whole premise in life, and I'm going to continue to work on this until the day I die, is I want anybody who's listening to know that we have a power within us that is so amazingly, it's a tool that people take for granted every single day, and that's the power of the subconscious mind. I don't want people to go through life thinking that we are a product of our circumstances, or, this happened to me, or it's my parents that are this. It's all the information in the subconscious mind. Your subconscious regulates your health, your nervous system, the cells of your body, your DNA, your behaviors, what you project out, your energy, what you attract back into your life. I mean, it is the ruler of everything. And it is a part of your mind that people just walk around and forget exists. And all I'm saying is you have a power within. We are the most empowered beings. And I think the reason why people out there don't want us to know this is because if they do, we wouldn't need anybody else. Everything's inside of us. So,
The powers within.
mhm.
How do the folks listening find it within?
Well, you
They have
can
to come see you?
you can see anybody, but I
Yeah,
will tell you, I'm a super super. I can say with conviction that hypnotherapy is one of the most powerful tools. I do NET. I am an NLP practitioner. You've mentioned Tony Robbins. Um, I'm a life coach, but hypnosis is just like the most powerful tool. You can try to do it online. You can do it. I'm doing Zoom sessions now for
cool.
people who might hear this and don't live around here. Find a
Yeah,
therapist nearby. Tap into the subconscious mind, read about it, understand it at least. Do your meditations. Meditation is the number one way to access subconscious. And so use those tools, whether you're listening to a YouTube recording, which sometimes I do if I don't have anybody, my colleague around, I'll just pop in a meditation on YouTube. But do not underestimate the power of the programs in your subconscious and figure out ways to access them. If it's not through hypnotherapy, try other modalities.
awesome. Well, thanks so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it. I'm sure I'll put your link here in the video along with your phone number for anybody that's interested in working with you. I know I'll be coming to see you. I'm very interested in getting into my subconscious mind, figuring out what's going on back there. And we appreciate you. For everybody listening, like, subscribe, share the video with anybody you love. We're doing this for you. Thank you guys for tuning in.